Game number 1 on Sky Temple. Naventic is facing Cognitive in the loser bracket, and actually, like, this game is gonna determine who ends up in the top 3 and who will end 4th in the tournament. So Naventic and Cognitive, they're going to face each other right now on the first map, and the winner of the best of 3 series will advance to face in the loser bracket final Team Blaze, and then the winner of that match is going to head straight into the grand final, where Cloud9, of course, is already waiting. At this point, we're having Naventic with the first pick, first ban, and they get rid of Zeratul immediately. They actually picked him in the last game. Cognitive has played a very, very strong series against Tempo Storm earlier, and they are definitely not an easy opponent to face. Naventic was already struggling a bit against GosuGamers in the last game, and they actually switched their ban around from a Zeratul over to Li Ming, whereas Cognitive, of course, has now the choice to maybe ban Zul out. Naventic hasn't really played too much with Zul, but he is a hero that is incredibly annoying, of course. And especially on this map, there's a lot of pushing power that you get with him. But Cognitive has shown us some really cool plays already in the series before, and it's going to be interesting to see how they are going to fare against Naventic here. As I said, you end up in the top 3 if you actually win it here, and that's, of course, where we also start with the prize money. Isuk35, thank you very much for the resub, my friend. Thrall in this case is, okay, switching it over to a Muradin. Like, the teams right now are really just like thinking, okay, how do we draft here? The advantage, of course, that Cognitive kind of had is that they could look at the last series and could watch that and could see how Naventic plays against GosuGamers. That gives them a slight advantage when it comes to the drafting. They can actually have a bit of a look of which heroes are being prioritized by Naventic to then like play around that and draft around that. We're having Falstad in this case as the first pick, actually, whereas Cognitive is thinking about starting right away with the Zeratul. They saw, of course, that on this particular map, Naventic played with Zeratul in the previous series. So Zul and Zeratul are the picks for them very early. That's, of course, already a very strong setup that we are seeing here for them, with Zul oftentimes being put down to the bot lane, taking over the role a little bit of Zagara. I mean, Zagara brings a little bit more to the match than only just like lane push. She can also provide you with a vision over the boss area, and she's also a little bit safer as Zul in the sense that she knows, thanks to the creep tumors, when a rotation is headed her way, whereas Zul, of course, as he also lacks the escape, is oftentimes falling victim to a good rotation if there's not a call from the rest of their teammates, which, of course, in a competitive game should always be the case. But still, Naventic with their picks right now, a couple of heroes that we're still missing. Greymane, for example, can still be taken, even though Naventic hasn't really put a huge focus on Greymane yet. So it's rather possible that Cognitive might lock him down. For Naventic, it could be the healer again. We're oftentimes talking about Rhaegar, whereas I have to admit that Naventic didn't really prioritize him as highly as other teams that they faced today, especially GosuGamers in last series. They wanted to play Rhaegar, and even after that ancestral change, he's still an extremely powerful support, one of the best as is, actually, even though he has to change his playstyle a little bit and has to play a bit safer. ETC is locked down, and we have seen an ETC game played earlier where Zuna jumped on ETC. We could possibly see that again. And with ETC now being chosen, there's of course all of a sudden a couple of things that we have to talk about. I mean, you could pick a Thrall, you could pick an Uther with a Divine Shield. They decide in favor of a Tassadar first, but even going for a Jaina would be a really good choice. That Tyrande is also a very good option. ETC opens up a whole variety of combinations that you can play against an opponent, and in this case Cognitive just says like, alright guys, listen, if you go for a Tassadar, we don't want to go up against Tassadar Tyrande. That double support style is a little bit too strong for us. It's a little bit too scary, especially as we're rocking with a Zeratul here. That vision on Tassadar alone is already going to be a pain. But in this case, Naventic can still go for an Uther, which has actually been seen with ETC and double support. Uther, Tassadar, ETC. We've seen that before. And Naventic is going for a ban on Rhaegar here. So that puts already a bit of an interesting twist to it. Naventic saying like, hey, we have Tassadar, no matter what support we add in addition to him, it's going to be really good for us because, well, we want to have a strong double support, and Cognitive picks Uther away. And that doesn't surprise me in the slightest. As I said, Naventic would really do well with Uther Tassadar, and they decide to go and pick it away. Because right now, Naventic can still pick a good support. I mean, they're gonna, if they want to have a double support, they have a lot of options, but they don't have that Divine Shield option for ETC any longer. They can also play that Tassadar solo, by the way. Against the setup that we are seeing right now, this would definitely still work. It would more or less, personally, I believe that it would put you in a position where you can't really go for for Mental Acuity on level 4 if they go for solo support, but they decide to go for Brightwing. Sonya also added to the draft now, so Tassadar with Leeching Plasma if mental acuity isn't taken. Personally, I would skill it in a way that I would go for Leeching Plasma on 4 on Tassadar, plus Carla's Embrace, and then Peekaboo and Brightwing. So you have Oracle plus Peekaboo to have something against Zeratul. Sonya is going to have a lot of fun if she has the Leeching Plasma, and so does Falstad. And for Cognitive, the last pick here, going into the tank, of course. Kind of had to beat Johanna with Meridian banned out. They have a couple of stuns that they can use against ETC, but most important is going to be Zeratul with the Void Prism, if a Mosh Pit actually hits home. So a pretty cool draft, very fast, by the way, what we are seeing for both of the teams here. Sky Temple is our starting map, and guys, let's jump in. Naventic going up against Cognitive here at the end of the Storm loser bracket for North America. Game number 1, ladies and gentlemen, is starting. Naventic going up against Cognitive. Sky Temple is our first map, and to the left side we have Naventic. Zuna on Sonya, we have McIntyre on Falstad, Aho on ETC, we're seeing Fan on Tassadar, and Kenma on Brightwing. And to the right side of the map, Cognitive, after very nice showings here already earlier today against Templestorm with Glorong on Zeratul, Caterpillar on Johanna, Faye is playing Jaina, Korthenluck on Zul, and Ayakona is playing Uther. So, well, at this point, we are going to see which team takes the lead in this series. Keep in mind that we are already in the top 4, so whichever team is going to take this one will end up being at least 3rd place in the tournament, and therefore already receiving prize money. And, well, we have on level 1 Gathering Storm taken for Falstad, not going into an auto attack build. Well, kind of what you would expect here also with that setup that they're running. They're going up against actually like a lot of melee heroes. So there's a lot of targets for McIntyre, but that Gathering Storm build is very, very popular, so it doesn't really surprise too much. Uther is most likely going to go into the Conjurer's Pursuit. I mean, he has a couple of choices, but Conjurer's Pursuit is the norm. So I suppose that we're going to see that late pick once again. Once that Ayakona is able to get access to the first globe, he's most likely going to pick the talent. Shade on level 1 for Zul. We're seeing Knight takes Pawn, Regeneration Master for Zeratul. And besides that, Glorong is actually already a little bit lower. Zuna is starting to put some pressure on him. Aho is this time on ETC, and Falstad taking the bot lane. So Falstad has the fly ability, so he can take the bot lane and the experience here. And whenever he actually has like an issue, whenever there's like a problem for the rest of the team fighting over those 2 temples, he can just like simply fly to the top and take that with them. So that can work then for them as well. So that's one of the things why Falstad is so flexible and can be so good on this map, or on any map actually. And we're having still a bit of a fight over the vision here. So just like trying to get, of course, the watchtower. You know those rotations, or you see them coming a little bit earlier, and that is going to help you a lot. Zul at the bot lane is, of course, doing what he does. He's trying to just use that Scythe and his W to just like pressure everything back. Those curse strikes are pretty powerful. And already pressure against, in this case, actually, Brightwing. So Brightwing was currently at the top lane, pressured by Fate. She's just poking the entire time, trying to put some pressure on. It's an even split in temple shots, at least for now, so nobody really taking a massive advantage or anything. Caterpillar is just attempting to screw a little bit with Zuna here in the middle, but he will eventually have to move out there. And Korthenluck and McIntyre are starting to join with Zul and also Falstad. So level 4 talents with the Vorpal Blades on Zeratul have now come in play. The one thing that I want to highlight as well is that we have seen Faye play Jaina a lot today. And not only today, also in the past few days, of course. And we have seen a massive focus on the Blizzard build, with even Snow Crash on level 16, but also Stormfront on level 13. So the increased radius on level 4, the increased range on level 13, and the 3rd Blizzard wave on level 16. We could see that again for them. In terms of the talents, we have Jayla taken as level 4 for Zul, and as a counterplay, Sonya went for Hurricane as the level 4 talent to make sure that if Bone Prison is applied to her, that she's able to get out of it. Also with Flow Rider, we have of course that cooldown reduction that Falstad really likes. The Air Gust on level 16 is a talent synergizes extremely well with it, so McIntyre is going to get that extra damage out then. Falstad overall just feels very, very fun these days. The teams are starting to go for the Siege Giant camps. This is like pretty much the norm on this map. So you try to get a split at the temple at least between the first 2. One team takes the top, the other one the middle. If you get a couple of kills in, of course, you're trying to get even a bit more than that. But normally it ends up with the teams going for an even split. And then it's all about the Siege Giant camps at the bot lane and a bit of a preparation for the second temple phase to start, where we have the bot lane then in action. That's also why the teams oftentimes try to just like break through the wall and go for the opponents well, because you can get the lane, like you can like take lane sustain away from the opponent. I'm liking a push attempt here in the middle, on the other hand, for Naventic. trying to get a bit of pressure in. But already an early cap on on the bruiser camp taken here. So bruiser camps are of course going to be claimed as well by Naventic a bit later, but this is a very early one, so it can be depushed, but you can already tell that Zuna and Aho are starting to go for their own consume. They have a slight little experience. It's nothing fancy, nothing really that translates into a massive advantage or anything, so nothing to get excited about and write home about. But we have at least now Ferocious Healing taken, Boomerang, we're seeing Loudspeakers, there's the Kala's Embrace, Peekaboo as expected, plus also Face Shield. So the talents that we expected during the draft have now been taken. Brightwing, yeah, locked down, but Kenma should be able to get away. But the most important fact is they have Oracle against Zeratul, they have Peekaboo against Zeratul, they have the vision that they need, and that's all that counts for now. Still, Sonya able to capitalize, as does Falstad on the Leeching Plasma and the Kala's Embrace. So the preloads on the shields for Tassadar are going to be a constant thing here. And with level 7 now, we are of course also seeing the follow-through for Zeratul, and this is like the time when the Temple really comes into play, and everybody is starting to rotate down, with the exception of Brightwing. And now Naventic finds themselves in a situation where they can just rotate Brightwing down with a quick jump, but that means that Zul is going to push the top lane even harder. And right now, he's actually hiding a little bit. Kenma doesn't care too much, is now jumping down, but Kenma tries to actually... Oh, the Bone Prison travels with Brightwing when they jump, didn't even know that. Ayakona is dead. Nice jump there on the Polymorph, but yeah, today I learned, so if you actually Bone Prison Brightwing, and the Bone Prison doesn't hit, then it travels with Brightwing down to wherever he teleports into. Zul is easily able now to defend this lane, but also, of course, he is at the top, and with already Uta down, that means that the Temple is lost, and that's the chance now for Naventic to get even more experience, and they're heading straight into level 10. We have Ratma's Blessing now taken on level 7, Jailers on level 4. And Ratma's Blessing in this case, of course, giving you Zul the lane sustain. We are seeing Frostbitten again for Jaina. And we have a cleanse taken, in this case, over the Mana talent. You can go from the Boundless Conviction straight into the Wave of Light on level 7 then for your Holy Radiance. And that is, of course, going to help you a bit with the cooldown reduction, with also the mana management. But with Conjurer's Pursuit, you usually don't need it too much. And we have also an ETC with the Mosh Pit here, so it does make sense to go for cleanse. I mean, in theory, when you go for boss fights later on, you can even like go for a cleanse against something like the Mighty Gust, so that you have one hero staying on that shrine. Same is, of course, also true with the Iron Skin on Johanna, if the Mighty Gust comes in. So there are definitely a couple of counterplays if you try to go for boss. But for now, the big threat is really that heroic ability. And we have the heals for Brightwing, pretty much what you would expect there. But now there comes that setup for Cognitive. And this is actually scary. I mean, we're talking about a Zeratul with a Jaina. We've been talking a lot about Jaina and the build that Faye has been using throughout the tournament. But if you think about the Void Prison setup, then you can get an absolutely massive Ring of Frost and Blizzard Wave in. And also, of course, with a Skeleton Mages. So there's a lot of vulnerable combo potential and Bubble Wipe potential that we have from Cognitive. Uther, in this case, once again the target, and once again Ayakona is dead. Here comes the Mighty Gust that did not really hit too much, but Korthenlag is a bit slowed down. Yeah, have to save it, alright, but still Zuna is getting a little bit angry here. Good heals or also shields from Tassadar and Brightwing, by the way. But Naventic is playing a very controlled game right now. I'm really liking the way that they're approaching these fights. They are not giving Cognitive any opportunity to capitalize on a good Void Prison. And with every single time, at least so far, Ayakona dying on his Uther, it's getting a bit tricky. Especially since, of course, now the experience bar is really just filling up once more for Naventic. I mean, they're able to take structures down, they are pushing the advantage that they have, they push the lanes back, they take a couple of forts, they are also pushing towers, and we have now 2 additional temples on the map announced that they can aim for with the potential level 13 talent that they're going to get soon. So this is very, very solid for them already. A very good start into the game. 2 kills against 0, and a lot of pressure against Cognitive, but the game is far from being over, of course. No, like, it's not like Cognitive doesn't have potential to come back. They need to make sure that Ayakona doesn't die, though. Like, that's going to be important. I mean, at least for now, he has also his Divine Shield, so that's going to help him a little bit. And the wombo combo potential is a huge threat. I mean, let's not forget about that. Already, Zuna is being attacked here. Caterpillar's there. He's trying to move away. Brightwing comes in. And that is a very early Iron Skin that has been used here by Caterpillar. Ooh, that was super early. So that's in cooldown right now. I guess was a bit afraid of the Polymorph. Even used before Brightwing was there, because Brightwing would have used that immediately. Mystical Spear is now chosen for the extra mobility on Sonya, having at the same time now again Loudspeakers and Face Smell taken. Loudspeakers into Face Smell, so you get the extra push range, you get the slow, bit of control for ETC. I mean, it's one of the things why we call ETC oftentimes a utility tank. You get a lot of stuns, you get a lot of slows, you get speed metal later on if you want it on 16. So that's a lot of slight advantages that you have with the way that you are running your team. And with the Sonya at your side, you're not really like too worried about your survivability either. ETC doesn't have the high hit point pool of a Mirrodin, but he's still in a position where he can influence the team fight a lot. And of course, with the repositioning of the opponent's team, he is pretty great. But we have now another temple ending up in the hands of Team Naventic, and that is of course amazing for them. I mean, yeah, they took all of those forts down already. They themselves have still a fort plus towers in the mid lane, and at the bot lane we're seeing a very similar picture. So Cognitive is starting to really have a bit of a problem here. The level 13 talent is finally ready for them, and maybe Glorang can set up a good Void Prism once that the opponent groups. Nice! Oh, great move by Glorang. The problem is he finds himself still in the middle of 3, but he dodged that stun from Erho. Here comes that Void Prism. They try to go for false side. Where's the Ring of Frost? Not used yet. Mosh Pit as they counter. Ring of Frost is there, trying to get the kill, and they get ETC, but Johanna is dead as well. McIntyre is on Glorang, trying to eliminate him now too. Brightwing eliminated. It's a 2-for-2 trade, and it looks like Faye is going to fall as well. Gets a heal and tries to save herself with a Blizzard, but this is the end of it, and the kill against Zul follows afterwards. Great moves here by Naventic, and of course now they can even punish the opponent further. Quad kill on their part, and they are going straight in for the kills against the towers. Every single structure that you eliminate here is going to give you an advantage when you start to go for the next temple. So incredibly well played here, really, really well done. And I mean, with this we are seeing at the same time now once again the lead in talents, or we will, at least in a little bit. That level 16 talent is going to be important. But let's look at the damage first of all. 21k already on the side of Sonya. So very nice damage output for her in this case. So she has pretty good numbers here. We're seeing even more damage than Falstad, who's at 13,000. So yeah, Zuna is playing a great game here. And at the same time, 15k for Jane at the top damage on the side of Team Cognitive. The level 16 talent is now also in play, and that gives us, first of all, as expected, the Airy Gust. We're having the Nerves of Steel, which is more or less a stone skin. You can use the Whirlwind by using it. That's the only reason why it has a different name. And we have Speed Medaling taken, we have the Dimensional Warp after Prescience, standard Tacita build, nothing too fancy. And on the side of Brightwing, of course, Greater Polymorph. Against the Zeratul, hell yeah, you're gonna go get that. So Greater Polymorph it is. And for now, there's another temple announced on the map where we're gonna see those two teams coming into play. But yeah, Brightwing, Brightwing. Wow, Void Prison to kill Brightwing. Alright, they really want that kill. And yeah, I'm sorry, but there's no such thing as overkill. There's no kill like overkill. That was a huge commitment to kill Brightwing, and I understand the hate. I don't like Brightwing either, but I feel they're overdoing it a bit. So Brightwing is down, and that's the third kill that they get in the game. And they want to go for Fan now too. And Tacita is trying to escape. Nice Mighty Gust by McIntyre. Good dodge though with the Iron Skin by Caterpillar. Not affected by the Mighty Gust, and Fan is now in trouble and is dead. Well played. So a bit of a hate on the supports here on the side of Cognitive, just saying like, yeah, we're gonna get you guys. Already level 16 is available to them, and they need to deep-push lanes though. That's where Faye starts moving in again, and she switched her build up. She did not go into the full focus onto the Blizzard. This time she's a bit too deep in, so she went instead for the improved improved Ice Block, and for also now the Northern Exposure. Northern Exposure has been claimed. Nice kills again. Falstad down. Tacita still missing. Zuna nearly dead, but he escapes. And the lockdown attempt against Kenma, and they get him. Oh, close. Was actually very close. Caterpillar was very, very close to get that slow in, and then that would have been the end of Brightwing. But the lanes have been de-pushed. The temple is still on the map, and you can really tell that all of a sudden Naventic is starting to lose the advantage that they had before. It's 16 versus 16 talents, and in experience, Cognitive is closing the gap. You shouldn't count them out. They have taken down Tempo Storm, and for a good reason. I mean, they played really well in these games. But a lot of the structures are already lost, and, well, we are still missing Falstad, but he can fly in. So Naventic needs to be a bit careful here, as we have 5 heroes around for their opponent, and Cognitive, they really want to make these plays now. The amplified damage on the Bone Prison is strong. Zuna low. Mosh Pit attempt interrupted, not coming through, and here's the Void Prison. Ring of Frost is in cooldown, And, well, everything seems to be in cooldown. So instead of capitalizing on the Void Prison, they have to disengage. Falstad is starting to fly in too, but he is still a bit far out. He can maybe go for that Temple already, but they're still chasing. They're trying to go for Caterpillar, and this time Johanna is not going to make it. Johanna is going to fall here. They're going to get her for sure. Question is, are they going to get more than that? And it doesn't really look like it. So they can move onto the Temple. They can actually take boss first of all. They can take boss right now. Without the frontliner, there's very little chance of anything happening here, especially with the Mighty Gust still available. Yes, of course, Uther can cleanse that out, but still, nobody is suicidal enough to move onto the spot if there's not even a tank to assist or use Condemn, Iron Skin or whatnot. So we are going to see that boss in, like, nice teleport here as well, but Brightwing jumping in with a Hyper Shift, getting the Peekaboo and therefore the vision, so that they know if anybody is going to try to steal the boss away. So they take boss and they go straight for the bot lane. They're going to get the few final shots, and they are going to put pressure onto the tower and onto the keep. So it's very likely that the boss is going to go through that. We are talking 14 minutes now in the game. So 14-minute boss, not super strong just yet, but really getting already some weight in, and especially if they're following it up with maybe like Aero jumping in. So the boss will go through the keep. All of them are focusing on it right now. Actually, yeah, boss should still get that. Boss is going to get it, especially of course with the minions that are starting to move in right now. And that's the first structure that is eliminated, the first inner structure that is taken down. 7 kills against 5. Naventic is looking good here, and they are taking the entire map. So what they're currently doing is just depush the lanes. And that, of course, gives them map vision. Just look at the minimap and let's think about the vision that we are currently seeing for Cognitive. They are very limited in that way, and everything is clearly visible to Naventic. So they have great map control right now. They have the safety to take all the camps that they want. They are, of course, aiming for level 20. They're not trying to fight here. They are waiting until they have the additional Storm talent. And once level 20 is in play, they are going to make their move. Aho is looking at that camp. Can't do anything about it. It's a little bit too early, but yeah. So the level 20 talent soon. Fan actually a bit far out, but, well, Wormhole was used for Zeratul to jump away. It was just a bit of a poke here that we just saw for a moment. And now with the minions dying up at the top, we should see 20 coming into play any second. And with that, they are going to try and make a move. And usually, like, with an entire level lead, even more than that, it should actually work to their advantage with the next Temple as well. With a level 20, we have, of course, Epic Mount taking. The mobility you get from the talent is absolutely insane. It is crazy good, and it's going to work out for them. Rewind on 2 of the heroes. Brightwing with a double polymorph now. That's more or less 6 seconds that you can disable a target. And we have the same also for Tacita, who did not go into the potential Storm Shield. We have one on ETC though. So ETC with a Storm Shield, no Ball of the Storm for him, and they are pressuring the top lane right now. They want to capitalize on the level 20 talent. And again, the vision on Zeratul, so they go in, push that, and they're trying, of course, to look for a potential mosh pit here. Yeah, Glorang, Polymorph, and that's exactly what we've been talking about. But it's a 5-man Void Prism, and this is time for Faye to shine. Here comes that damage, and boom! Triple kill. In your face. Nice. Nice. Well done by Naventic, clumping up with 5 people on the same spot so that Zeratul can finally get that money Void Prison out. Glorang doesn't even die. It's a quad kill. 19 versus 20, and they clump up, and it's an early present for Team Cognitive. I mean, this was the money Void Prison right there. That was the money Void Prison. And they are actually trying to go for game. They are trying to go for game. They are moving to the top, they have pushing power, and they are attempting to go through keep. I don't think they can finish though. I mean, they are clearly trying, but I'm not sure if they have enough time for that. The problem is that Zeratul isn't with them yet either. Well, if Zeratul arrives, there's Fan with the shields. Can he buy enough time? That's 14 seconds. They actually got enough time. They're actually making it work. That call to go for core, and guess what? They are going to make it happen. Void Prison isn't up, but they still have the stun, and yes, the core is falling. Actually, 2 are down. There's still, guys, there's Mighty Gust and there's a mosh pit. They might not be able to make it happen. They might not be. There's the kill against Faye. Oh, 30%, it's gonna be so close. Mosh pit is there, but against Uther. Why against Uther? The kill against Zeratul, 8%. Triple kill, 2 heroes alive, and it's not gonna work. 4%, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh my god, it's working. No, it's not. Uther is gonna be back. The shields, boys. 1% on the bloody core. The shields of Tacita have actually succeeded in keeping it alive. Oh my god, I cannot cannot believe this just happened. What on earth? The call is there. And guys, do you know what lost it? Zeratul chasing Tassadar just lost the game. 1% on the core. If he stays with the team, or if he succeeds in preventing the portal on Tassadar, one of the two, they win it. But because he wasn't there to dish out the damage, it's a kill against them. Unbelievable. Zeratul chasing Tassadar or not preventing the TP back just lost them the game. Game's over. Game number 1 ends in favor of Fnatic. What a finish. What a game. GG. Well played. Naventic with a 1-0 lead in the best of 3 series. Ladies and gentlemen, we have game number 2. Naventic is in the lead after this insane finish that we just saw on Sky Temple. Yeah, Zeratul was a bit the sad figure in this particular setup. First of all, he makes an amazing comeback possible with like one of the best Void Prisons that I have seen in months, and they get a complete team wipe out of this, with the exception of Tassadar. And then he makes like this one choice where he has the choice of either going with a team to deliver damage or to chase Tassadar. He decides to chase Tassadar. The problem is he can't really prevent him from TPing back. Tassadar escapes him. Therefore Tassadar is able to shield the core. And it takes Zeratul ages to move cross map and start delivering damage. The core ends up at 1% when they get wiped, and it is a counter throw. So a bit of a tragic figure here, our dear Zeratul. And we are going now into game number 2 with Naventic having the 1-0 lead in the series. Cognitive with a ban on Falstad on Infernal Shrines, and let's see how Naventic is going to draft it this time. And yeah, as I also said before, apparently I called Naventic Fnatic once in the last game towards the end. Got a bit excited there, and people were making jokes about Naventic basically being Navi plus Fnatic because of the name. But yeah, so my apologies for that. I guess it was pretty obvious that it was just like misspeller. Zul banned out, and we have Zeratul taken for Cognitive immediately. So this is going to be attempt number 2 to come through with Zeratul. And let's face it, I mean, that Void Prison at the end was amazing. That was out of this world. It was incredibly strong. Naventic, of course, making it a bit easy for them by clustering up like it, but still. So for now we have Muradin plus Liming taken as the first picks for Naventic. So again, like a strong frontliner, they're trying to go for the Storm Bolts. They have Liming also for the damage, which of course several times already secured them great victories. And with Zeratul and the Void Prism setup, Jaina is not really a surprise here. It's something that Faye has played constantly throughout the tournament, and the setup that you have with Void Prison and then Ring of Frost and Blizzard is of course amazing. It's so strong. We have Rhaegar for the heals again. This time at least. Well, last game we had for Cognitive Uther, but Rhaegar is of course a great healer, and he is still one of the highest regarded healer in the meta, even though Blizzard is constantly trying to nerf him a little bit in his numbers, and his self-heal on the Ancestral has of course been removed. Naventic can now think about maybe banning out. I don't really know if they are thinking about banning out in ETC. I mean, ETC is of course something that is harmonizing really well with the Jaina, but you already have a setup with a Void Prison. I'm not quite sure if you would really commit to also picking ETC in this case over a heavy tank like Johanna that can then move in. So I'm not quite sure how exactly Naventic is going to play that here. I could definitely see them even with a ban on maybe someone like Johanna to make sure that she doesn't get the wave clear, that she doesn't get the presence on the shrines, and allowing Cognitive to either go for Stitches or for ETC. They already have a stun against the potential Moshpit or Muradin, and I guess depending on how they are planning to draft here, they could increase if they get a couple of additional stuns out there. Moshpit might not be the biggest deal for them. But traditionally, one of the things that we've seen the North American teams do throughout the tournament is ban ETC in the second phase, since Moshpit can of course be a game-changing heroic ability, and Naventic is doing it again. So at least they're thinking about it right now. I mean, we knew that we were thinking about it, but they're starting to lock him, and there it is. ETC, after all, has been confirmed. For Cognitive, they can ban out a bit of the damage, I suppose. I mean, they can even think about a ban on Tassadar, because Naventic has already shown that they like to ban. Well, Tyrande and Tassadar would be really good bans, actually, because Naventic is leaning towards that Muradin once more. So Muradin plus Tyrande is very, very strong, and there's still the opportunity for Naventic to go into that double support that they were denied in the last game, where they were also like trying to run with a Tyrande plus a Tassadar. They went into Brightwing instead, which can be quite powerful, of course, against the Zeratul with Peekaboo, and also the Polymorph. You have two good tools against that melee assassin. But that could definitely be something that they are banning out here. There's still a lot of damage to consider as well. I mean, Thrall hasn't been taken yet and is usually part of the draft. We're having the potential Zagara, even though I have to admit that I don't really feel like Zagara would be the best choice for Naventic. Gives a great additional target for Zeratul. The Thrall ban I like a lot more. As I said, he is very strong and he would have probably been picked up by Naventic. But there's a couple of heroes that they can still look at right now. We're once again having the option of them to go into a Greymane, which can be really powerful. Greymane and Lunara are still two of the damage dealers that we oftentimes see, but they're also more on the squishy side, and that makes it a little bit tricky to keep them alive, especially, of course, if Zeratul gets the Void Prison and Jaina goes for the damage follow-up. The Sonya with Muradin again and the Tassadar behind that, so now they are putting Cognitive in a very awkward position where they're already knowing, like, well, they are probably going to go for that Tyrande again. Are we going to pick that away, yes or no? And I don't really think that you can in this situation. A Lunara for damage would leave them with 2 range damage dealers, and then they still need their front line, and I suppose that this is going to be Johanna. You can go into a Stitches with this, though. Like, you can play a Stitches here. I like Johanna more, and they play Johanna for now. And I suppose Naventic with a Tyrande could go for incredible poke and really strong lockdown. They could also like play that Tassadar, of course, solo or with a different support. I mean, we've seen Tassadar Brightwing in the last game, which was very nice against Zeratul because you had more or less constant vision with Oracle. And it seems like Peekaboo is really something that they prefer. So it's not going to be that lockdown against a single target with Muradin and Tyrande and then the damage, but Brightwing and Tassadar supplying the vision that you want to have against Zeratul so that that Void Prison setup is going to be a little more difficult for him. Interesting draft. I like it. It's pretty cool. So, guys, game number 2 is going to start up. Infernal Shrines is the map. Let's jump in and find out which team is going to take the best of 3 series to advance and face Team Blaze in the next round of the tournament. Game number 2, everybody. We are currently looking at Naventic versus Cognitive. The second game with a lead for Naventic now. So they only need one more map to at least end up in the top 3 of the tournament here in Season 2 of the North America. Enter the Storm. Zuna to the left side of the map on Sonya. We have Erho on Muradin, McIntyre on Tassadar, Kenma on Brightwing, and Fan is playing Li Ming. To the right side of the map, Korth, Luck on Runara, Ayakona on Rhaegar, Glorang on Zeratul. We have Caterpillar on Johanna, and Faye on Jaina. So the setup once again, Faye, by the way, again on one of her favorite heroes here for sure. I mean, we've seen her on Jaina already a couple of times here with different builds. This is actually the map where we've seen the most focus on Blizzard, since you can poke from a huge distance on the shrines as is. But as we see with the talents, we have once again on level 1 the natural perspective taken for Lunara. We're having also Brightwing going again, of course, in the same build. It worked really well against Zeratul, except for that last Void Prison. Zeratul had a very rough time going into these fights, and that was true because of the Oracle on Tassadar and also then Peekaboo on level 4 for Brightwing. We have Power Hungry again for Li Ming, and the rotations are starting with Brightwing at the top lane going up against Lunara in a bit. So Lunara is going to try and get some extra damage here. Should in the long run win the lane here, but of course with that next or the first shrine going to be announced very soon, it shouldn't really come too much into play, and Brightwing has a bit more lane presence now than she did before. Blizzard changed that a couple of patches ago. Not actually sure which number that was, but now she at least can get a bit more wave play out. We're seeing at the same time now here still that battle in the mid lane with a 4 versus 4 setup. And of course, the important part really for both of the teams is that whichever team wins this best of 3 series, they will end up in the top 3 of the tournament and therefore win at least $1,000 and hardware from Rocket. So the third place at the end of the Storm North America wins $1,000 and you also get hardware. And that is going to be pretty cool for whoever takes it now, because fourth place doesn't get anything. So this is really an important match for both of them. And for Cognitive, it means that they have to somehow make sure that they are not losing out on this. But the last game, of course, was a nail-biter, especially at the end. I mean, the entire thing started with Naventic having a massive lead, and then all of a sudden, the monster Zeratul Void Prison allowing a quad kill. It ended up with a core throw on 1%, which was, of course, a very unfortunate way to lose the game. Cognitive is not going to be happy about that at all, but they have their chance here to tie the series up. Already, nice Blizzard move here. We have the fight going straight into the next shrine. Yes, Caterpillar, and he's dead. 16 seconds on Johanna now, and the earlier level 4. Well played here, and that means that we will at least get a minion lead on the side of Team Naventic. The first Punisher, of course, not the most important one, which is also one of the reasons why we're still seeing heroes on the other lanes to make sure that they have at least a chance to get some XP. Interestingly enough, on level 4 we have the Shattered Ground now taken. So that is something that we don't see all too often. So we have a bit more splash, and that's actually pretty cool for Zuna to get more of those minions. It's a really nice talent, and I think it's really just an adjustment to the map per se. So we're not seeing focus attack. Last time we saw Hurricane, but since this time there's no Zul around, you don't need that. Focus attack is the standard talent to see on Sonya as level 4, but considering the map, it makes sense to go for the Shattered Ground here actually. I like it, a nice adjustment on him. Dominance for Fan on Li Ming. And already Lunara starting to poke here. She went into the Nimble Wisp as level 4 talent. We have still a bit of additional healing with the amplified healing taken by Johanna. And lane soak on every lane. Faye at the bot lane, in the mid lane we're having a Zeratul. And that of course results in a simple Punisher for the blue team. But they won't be able to do too much with it. I mean, usually when you get the Punisher, what you can accomplish is to take like 1, maybe 2 towers, and that's roughly it. So they have to try and put the damage in, and they're already doing that. It is an Arcane Punisher though, so that can deliver a bit more damage, especially to the structures here as well. First tower down, they get the wall as well, and they might be able to claim the second one too. But experience-wise, it's still roughly the same level. We have a slight lead for Naventic, nothing too crazy though. So at this point, it's really all about the soak that we've seen from Faye and from Glora. So it's still a very solid situation. Oh, Zuna missing the spear, and Jaina therefore escaping. Well, we have in terms of talents, to come back to the original point, also now Snowstorm taken plus Feral Heart. So Feral Heart, of course, something that gives you a bit more lane sustain for Rhaegar, since you get the increased mana and hit point regeneration. Nature's Culling, again, taken here for Lunara. It's great against the bosses, of course, as well, against the Punishers. And we're having at the same time now the cooldown reduction for Muradin. Leeching Plasma, Peekaboo gonna go into the Hyper Shield here, the Face Shield. And we have, of course, also Calamity taken for Fan. You used that build already several times throughout the tournament. Pretty standard setups. When we're talking Rhaegar, I mean, he can go into a cleanse, and I actually feel that he should. We're currently talking about a polymorph that he can cleanse out, about the stuns that we are seeing for Muradin, and also potential stun on Sonya with a spear. I mean, of course, there's always a chance that also Leap is being committed to, and that is going to make cleanse even more necessary. It might be actually something that Iacona is going to wait for before he is going to make that decision. If he really feels that the polymorph alone and the Stormbolt is not reason enough to go into cleanse, he might wait to see what Sonya is going to do here. Together with that Muradin, we could see a Leap, I suppose, especially against heroes like Lunara. If you commit to that, you will, of course, try to burst Lunara away. And if there is also Fan in the area who can use his Calamity to just like simply jump in, that can definitely result into more or less a one-shot scenario. So that's one of the things that they're definitely going to try and do. Nice timing here for the camp that has been taken by Cognitive. So they are behind though, slightly, not a lot, but they're slightly behind right now. And as expected, we still have Iacona waiting for his turn. And Shrine is active, the teams are aiming for level 7, especially, level 10, especially Kenma. On Brightwing will always try to stay as far out of the fight as he possibly can, up to the point where he really is needed and where somebody needs that shield, because it's extra experience for them that they get. And they already have a lead in the minion stacks right now. Shattered Ground is making it work, and here comes the cleanse. So no matter if Leap or no Leap, we of course expect Wrath of the Berserker, but there is a chance that it's going to be Leap. But no matter what's going to happen on Zuna on level 10, he wants to make sure that he has that additional cleanse. Cleansing out a Leap, by the way, is like an incredible important thing, but once more, Wrath of the Berserker should be the time. And it is. Wrath of the Berserker taken. Here comes again. The laser show. Fan not getting too much damage in this particular one, but still, 20-second cooldown is absolutely nothing, and they are already at 27 to 31 minions. Once more, Void Prism, isolating Muradin. He jumps in. Where's the Ring of Frost? Could come into play now, and there it is. But hitting no one. Dropping them very low. Ancestral is too late to keep Johanna alive. They might still get the Punisher, but I highly doubt it. Kenma is jumping in, jumping out, using his heal, using the shields. Gloran, oh my god, Zeratul gets the kill against Li Ming, but he himself dies too. And Zuna just goes in deep for the kill against Lunara right now. They are still alive somehow, and Brightwing is just zipping all over the place before she finally dies. Iacona is moving in, but they lose now the Punisher. Again, Zuna missing the spear, and their Rhaegar is the only one to escape. 5 kills against 2, and we are seeing the Punisher move through the mid lane right now to push this one in. 5 kills against 2, and in favor, of course, of Team Naventic, and they are looking good again. They have a level lead right now, and it's going to increase once that these structures are being taken down now as well. Mirrodin, Tassadar, they immediately roam to the other lanes and make sure that they get the experience over there as well. So it's all about trying to maintain the lead that they already have. Can't really poke too much in the middle right now. They had to wait for a few of their heroes to come back into play as is, and therefore it's just once again about camps. Trying to steal camps away, trying to make sure that you can get something there. But, well, right now, Jaina's still at the top. Tassadar's coming in. They should be able to steal this one, and they will. Yeah, Lunara is trying to do a bit of damage, but already a force one on Tassadar. It's really tricky as the defending team or the team that wants to go for the camp to move through this gap, because if you're up against the Tassadar, because that force wall can split the team, and then you are ending up in a lot of trouble. So currently level 12.5, meaning 13 is going to be crucial. But thanks to the movements on the map, they get now camp after camp. They could even try to contest the one at the bottom, not fast enough. So at least one has been claimed by Cognitive. But overall, the lane presence that we are seeing for Naventic is very, very strong. Now when it comes to damage, we have once again on the side of especially Sonya, 13k, not too bad, not bad at all, even more than Liming brings to the table. 52,000 siege for Jaina, and we have 49,000 siege already for Tassadar. So pretty solid numbers here for both of them. But the level 13 talent is now ready, and that brings us, after Calamity the Illusionist for Fan, going to go into the Diamond Skin most likely on level 16 as well. And besides that, we'll see again the Shield Dust, which is of course also going to be pretty great to negate some of the damage that especially Lunara and Jaina are going to bring in these fights. It's still going to be a 13 versus 13 battle. That's actually like the cool part about it right now. Cognitive has showed that they have definitely the setup that can do a lot of work. They got a pretty decent Void Prison off in the last one, but they weren't really able to put as much damage on as they would have liked to make sure that a few of the targets instantly die. So without that burst, Jaina, or the heroes at least for now, survived, and that ended up in a very long and drawn out fight that was finally won by Naventic. Glorag is very low actually, and we are seeing also now Johanna moving away. So with them losing hit points this fast and Tassadar already being on the point up at the top lane, it looks a bit dangerous for them, because this is McIntyre starting to get again a lead for them in minion stacks. Everybody else is just now moving over, and with a camp taken here, this is starting to pressure down the structures. So Cognitive will have to deal with that. They will have to move in and will have to de-push it, and that is going to cost them even more time. They more or less gave up already on getting that thing in the first place. I mean, Kenma is eating some damage at the bot lane, but he's still soaking experience, and they are giving up on the punch. So they're actually trying to go for Kenma. They might get him. Yeah, goes for the Pixie Dust, waits for the minion wave, is trying to blink heal away, but the fort is helping out. Everybody else rotates in on two. They're trying to trade structures actually, but the rest of the team is also in position now to go for it. 31, Sonya is still up at the top lane, but they're defending the fort, and they are in a really nice spot now. Experience is the same. We have, by the way, the unfair advantage now taken as well, so that's pretty sweet for them. Oh, and the Earth Living Enchant. Look at that. I haven't seen that in a long time. I'm actually wondering a bit if we misjudged the talent in the last game, but I don't think so. So basically what you do with this, you get additional heal if the target that you are trying to heal is below 50%. No cooldown reduction, but a bit more healing numbers for Rega right now. The Punisher is already in play, and Driving jumps in now too. They're going again for Caterpillar, and Mirrodin might have the cooldown ready for another Stormbolt in a few seconds. Doesn't so far. Glorm, on the other hand, is suddenly being chased, and yeah, I'm not quite sure if he's going to get away from this one. Void Prison. Nice cooldown bait, and Fan is dealing with him, so he didn't even get all of them. And guys, this is a problem. Massive one now for Team Cognitive. Cognitive is behind in kills 6 versus 2, and they are starting to lose structures everywhere. Another tower is going to fall here. It's 20 seconds until Zeratul is back, and even when he's back, he won't have his cooldown ready for another Void Prison. And with the knowledge of that being the case, we are seeing more pressure against the wall here. One tower down, the second one nearly eliminated. Korthenlag is trying to chase, but now they have the 16 talent too, with the Diamond Skin taken, with also the Greater Polymorph to make sure that they're getting the extra second in Polymorph time for the disable. Nerves of Steel on Sonya for survivability. This is an amazing position for Team Naventic. If they can push the level 16 advantage now to get all of the camps on the map and put pressure onto the lanes, they should be in a fantastic spot to, first of all, increase the experience lead and maybe even and take a couple of the structures. They could try and bust through the wall at the bot lane, and they're doing exactly that. The structures are low as is anyways, so it's an easy kill against all of those, and if they take the well out, for example, that would help them a lot to make sure that if the next shrine spawns at the bottom, that they have a bit of an upper hand there. Well, maybe not upper hand because they themselves also lost well on their own lane, but at least that they won't be at a disadvantage. Kenma and Korthenluck, they're having their little dance there. We saw them at the bottom lane earlier, and this time Gloring is trying to help out again with the kill. But Kenma is playing a very, very cautious game. I'm really liking the way that he's currently playing this. I mean, at the bot lane he was soaking the experience for a long time. You can actually see the experience soak right there. We have Tassadar currently on 10k, Brightwing still on 8k, so doing a very solid job with that. Experience lead on the side, or experience like soak on the side of the red team of Cognitive. Jaina with 9k, she was actually on the solo lane for quite a bit. And when it comes to talents on 16, we're now seeing the Starwood Spear again, Earthquest Totem, kind of completing the Rhaegar build a little bit. Again, I want to highlight that the level 13 talent is the Earth Living Enchant, so the extra heal on the targets below 50% health, which is actually really important here to note. No cooldown reduction, no tidal waves, and Holy Renewal even on the side of Johanna. Oh, Suna needs to be careful here. Yeah, if he goes too far out, then Lunara is going to show him how much damage Bambi can actually dish out. But in damage, overall, 18,000 still on Sonya. Zuna is doing a great job with the pressure plays here. Hasn't died yet either. Thought that was noteworthy too. And we have, again, Zuna at the front, but the double support is really coming through, especially that shield on Brightwing is great. And Kenma is always using the blink heals to reposition himself, making it very difficult for especially Zeratul to get the damage in. And also, of course, with that vision that we have, Faye lasered into the ground. That's where Rhaegar's talents come into play now with the 13, but they are losing position again, and they are losing out on another Punisher. They haven't won a single one yet. This is the 4th Punisher that we see for Team Cognitive, for Team Naventic, and they are playing a great game here. Immediate reaction is the move to the top lane to take the camp. This is actually pretty cool because it's going to threaten the fort over here the longer the action at the bot lane lasts. So eventually we are going to see someone move back, but Naventic is going to try to go for keep. I mean, they're going to try. It's not necessarily going to work, but the Punisher should be able to dish out enough damage and give them the cover that they need, especially as Zeratul is in the mid lane. They're trying to close the gap in experience because Cognitive knows once level 20 is reached with the Storm talents, they are going to be in a huge amount of pain for a long time. And they won't most likely be able to get the keep anyways. Zeratul in the back. Here's the Void Prison. That is not good enough. That is definitely not good enough. Zeratul is having huge trouble. The Void Prison didn't do anything whatsoever. Nobody was even close to follow that up with damage. That didn't work at all, and there's the kill. That was sloppy. That was, I'm sorry to say, but that was actually like very, very sloppy. Moving in from behind, everybody was already spreading because Naventic expected Zeratul to move in at some point, and they, this time, did not clump up. They knew about the danger. Then the Void Prison goes down. Zeratul does not get away. He only catches 2. The entire Void Prison is more or less useless, and that was a very huge blow to them again. Level 20 is going to be ready very, very soon. They took the key, and they defend the fort at the top. Zuna is there. He's playing an incredible game here. We have an overall 7 kills against 2. And in the mid lane, the pressure and the kill against Johanna. 4 versus 4 situation as Zeratul was dead and Zuna at the top. And they get the kill, and now we have Temporal Flux, and Faye is so low. She's Ancestral Healing. I don't think she's going to... Oh, actually, I hope we have Stormbolt. Does he have his rewind? Yes, he does. Goes for it, and Faye is down. Faye dying. She went again into the improved ice block. You have Korthenluck also TPing away. They don't want to end just now, but they are going for structures again. They're saying, hey boys, we have 20, we have a 2-level lead. Let's get the most of it. Let's take the gaps on the map. Let's take the structures that we can get. Let's push the advantage. We have a 5 versus 3. Why stop here? Let's go at least for the wall, and then when the next shrine is going to be announced, we can go for another Punisher and make that work. But that poke from Korthenluck from behind the wall is actually very nasty. I mean, the damage output that we see from Lunara is still crazy. The problem is just they can't get any kills from it. Lunara is at 44,000 hero damage and is therefore the highest damage in the entire game. But as already mentioned before, Lunara is not really the best finisher. I mean, her poison damage is absolutely incredible, but usually she needs someone else who delivers the final blow. So for now, another shrine activated, and this is gone. I mean, at this point, you won't get a chance to go for the shrine. Gloring is trying to take camps away. They need to risk something right now, and he's far out on the other side of the map. We have not a single fort taken, by the way, by Cognitive so far. Of course, now they should push the bot lane and take this one. It's going to give them additional experience. And they will most likely end up with level 20 once that the Punisher for Naventic is pushing the top lane. But that's already about it. And actually, with everybody at the bot lane, Naventic is making the only right move. They are starting to go for the top lane immediately, forcing now a B back, of course. But even with the teleports back, this keep is going to get some damage. Not a lot, but the tower is down. As long as Zuna doesn't overextend, it's going to be fine. And Tassadar is saving the retreat with the force wall. So things are looking pretty sweet for them. Right wing is going to get those hits at the top. 20 is still not there, so they have enough time to move up to the top lane. Make sure that they get the Punisher right now, and then they can push with Punisher. For keep and core, because right now you have the wall already eliminated. You can't go for the core maybe. There's a level 20 versus level 20, so they are forced into a fight after all. The Punisher isn't taken yet. And that is a chance for Cognitive to turn it around again. They have the vision. They go for Rhaegar. Rhaegar is completely isolated, and he is about to fall. Ayakona is trying to de-steal someone. The problem is he hit Faye with a heal and not Caterpillar. Faye was already at full health, so that didn't help really. And it's a 5 versus 4 without a healer, and we all know how that usually goes. Glorung is already about to be eliminated, but maybe Muradin dying first. Muradin gets the shield. Yeah, and Zeratul is about to die. So is everybody on the side of Cognitive, actually. Caterpillar is the one who is actually proccing his indestructible. No, he's not, but he kills Brightwing. Unbelievable. They nearly turn it around. But Zeratul is dead, and now it's time again for Caterpillar to proc his level 20. Already Phase being attacked. Greater Polymorph, greater Spell Shield as Ice Block thingy. The improved Ice Block has saved her for a little bit, but she is falling after all. So right now, Caterpillar still not proccing his 20. There it is! Finally. It took a long time, but they're finally making it happen. They don't even go for the Punisher yet, though, but they will move in and take that eventually. I mean, they really need to do that now. The Punisher, of course, is going to hit really, really hard, but right now they got their kills in, and at some point they finally have to make something happen. They won't be able to go through the keep or for the core unless they take down Lunara, and so far Lunara has actually played a very safe game in that regard. The Galloping Gate is helping her as well. 65,000 damage by now, 115,000 siege damage as well. Top damage in both categories for her. And here's the Punisher, and this is the Frozen Punisher. And of course we have also McIntyre leaning back to the game. So this is going to be a massive push. Jaina dead for another 10. Camp taken now as well. Brightwing jumping in so that they have the vision too. And with that, this should actually be theoretically the conclusion. If they get the gap, if they get the cap, and they get the Punisher, the only thing that they really need to finish the game is maybe get a kill. Zeratul is once again the massive win condition here. If he gets another like 5-man Void Prison like in the last game, that would work. Naventic is probably currently like, look how they split. Look how they immediately split. Nice bait by the Punisher into the middle. I like that. So well done actually. But the attack is there. Keep is down. And this is the attempt to take down Faye. Stormbolt is good. But yeah, Rewind also used. They go for the keep for the second one. But the Punisher, there it is. There's the Void Prison. Where's the follow-up? A Ring of Frost and the damage. And the kill. Close, but not quite. Kenma is still alive. Punisher is dead, but so is the keep. All of the keeps eliminated, and the kill against Rhaegar is sealing the deal here. Cawthon Luck is also falling in hit points, has to move back to the Nexus, and they are going for core right now. It's not over just yet. They might be able to defend, but there's a massive attack happening, of course, and the Poke of Fan is no joke. Like, he's delivering the damage. Cawthon Luck is so low, but he gets away. And that damage is so annoying. The core is down to 84%. They're making another attempt. Rhaegar is not alive. He's down for another 38. And here comes the Temporal Flux. Caterpillar proccing is indestructible again. But they can go for core, and that's what they do. Naventic, they want the 2-0 victory, and this is looking like the end of it. They can focus on it. There's the kill against Sonara, and that's definitely the end. GG, well played. 2-0. Naventic defeats Cognitive and moves on into the top 3, facing Team Blaze in the next round of the tournament.
And that is it, everybody. GG and well played.
The game's over, and therefore also the video for today here on Khaldor TV. We had another great Heroes of the Storm match, and I hope that you enjoyed it. Also hope that you enjoyed the commentary, of course. So thank you very much for tuning in today. If you enjoyed the video, make sure that you give it a thumbs up on YouTube. And of course, if you haven't subscribed to Khaldor TV yet, you should definitely hit that sub button as well. If you have some friends that like Heroes of the Storm, then definitely make sure that you show them the channel and also the video. There's a lot more where that came from. We're going to have like continuous content throughout the next few weeks with more Heroes of the Storm matches played, not only on the European server, but also on the North American server, in tournaments, in leagues, and more than that. So guys, once again, thank you very much for tuning in today. I hope that you had some fun. It was a pleasure casting for you. And I'm going to see you next time with even more videos here on the channel. So have a great day and see you soon. Bye-bye.